What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 3, Week 3, the Rundall Division. If you haven't watched my Heinler Division video yet, please watch that first. It gives a little insight as to some of the changes that you're going to see in this video. But that being said, there will be a little scoreboard graphic down at the bottom. You won't see my face on the actual battles and stuff like that. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think of the matches, what you think of the changes. The reason I'm doing this is to save some time, but I just want, regardless, honest feedback from you guys, as I super appreciate it. Let's take a look at the standings heading into Week 3. We've got SurfTaco of Raegen against the Machine, Coppola of Holy Divers, and Catrah of Sandrock, all at the top with 6 points. JesusLBL of the Strawhats and Alkor of Diminishing returns not too far behind with 4. ThunderMage of Shadow Wizard Money Gang and ReadyPlayerWill of the Pandas, both with 3 points. And we've got 3 teams tied for last currently, with Coryu87 of S.E.E.S, IceHeart of her team Stag Party, and Daewn of Primordial Inquisition, all with 0. But I think a couple of these teams looking to get on the board this week should be interesting. 5 best of 3s to jump in for you guys. Let's check them out.
All right, guys, game number 1 here between Daewn on the left side of Primordial Inquisition versus Coryu87 of S.E.E.S. Both teams looking for their first series win on the season. And Blink of Eye immediately coming out for Bradley, giving preemptivity to himself, as well as a couple of resistance buffs for the party. And there's a full magic squad coming out from Coryu87. So we've got Amulet, we've got Severo, we've got Velis. And it'll be interesting to see what we've got here. So Velis should go haste on the Amulet and himself, I believe. Naya, what does she go for? She's got a couple of different buffs that she could go for. It could be regen. It actually goes for Frostweave Vivification. I believe this is the Velis TMR. And here comes Nasha with 44 AP. She goes for Keenblade, so 500 CT on the party. It might not be a massive thing just because the other team is on the opposite corner of the map, but it could still be pretty useful. Still gives slash attack up to the party. Velis is going to haste both himself and Amulet here. And King Bradley, what does he go for? He's sitting here thinking a little bit. He goes for Poise. Give himself a little bit of AP, Courage, Physical Damage, all of that good stuff. And Naya, what does she go for now? Does she go for Regen or Reflect? Those are probably the big 2 skills that she wants to use here. And Severo actually going Life Circulator. Interesting. So that is the Urel TMR, I believe. And I'm actually a little surprised that they're going for this, because Severo's 120 skill is very good for him. Gives himself both haste and courage. And Severo's range is so big, I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to use it. Maybe Coryu thinking that Velis is just going to haste him up anyway so he doesn't need it. We'll have to see. Amna's going to channel a spell here. I imagine this is probably Ternary Seal. There should be a haste coming out from Velis. And Ternary Seal gets reflected back in her face. Oh, dear lord. She one-shot herself. And this looks bad for Coryu. Bradley might be able to chain this together and just delete her right here. She did use the zombie TMR right at the beginning of the fight, though, which could be pretty massive. Calculated Ren comes out, and Koryu's Amulet drops. But this should be still okay for Coryu, as Naya's probably just going to walk up and do a Kuriga here. Looking at the turn order, it's going to be Velis and then Amulet. Velis should be able to full heal her. And then she could potentially find a Ternary Seal on both damage dealers, maybe even Naya if she's able to get close enough. We'll have to see here. This should be a snow healing from Velis. The one thing I will say, though, is Velis never actually got the haste off on Severo, so he is completely unhasted at this moment. Here comes the snow healing. 89-12. Heals a decent chunk. And this is full heal on both sides of the battlefield here. Ternary Seal doing so much damage, though. CT up on Bradley. I mean, he gets CT up for free basically every turn. It's kind of insane. But here he comes with 91 AP. How much damage can he do to the party? He's got some diamond AoEs in his kit. There is one of them with Calculated Rend. One-shots the Severo. I can't imagine that's what Coryu wanted to see here. Unfortunately, didn't get his courage buff online, so he's not able to keep fighting. Sentinel coming out from Nasha, though. And I'm actually a little surprised. She's got no range skills on, so apparently she cannot reach. So just popping the Sentinel can't do damage. That's actually pretty good for Coryu here, as Snow Healing is going to full heal Amulet again. And Amulet is the win condition. She is basically the only one who's probably going to do damage unless they all die around Velis. But what can Bradley follow up with here? Amnelis's Courage should be back online because she is at full health. So there it is. So she lives a hit. Naya's going to heal. And honestly, this might work out for Koryu. I think this entire fight is going to come down to right now, whose cast comes out first. Will it be Naya with the Kiriga, or will it be Amnelis with the Ternary Seal? Because Naya's probably going to walk towards the teammates to get a Kiriga. Yeah, she's going to do exactly that. She doesn't get it off yet. Amnelis, how fast is your casting time? I legitimately think this entire fight comes down to this turn right here. Who goes first? It's Naya. Kiriga comes out. I mean, Ternary Seal probably still one-shots Naya. Yes, it does. Actually almost procs the Courage on Bradley, but crucially lives with 212 health. Still sitting there with 50 AP. And he's sitting there thinking quite a bit. I do apologize. Here comes the quick lunge. 6,700 damage. Gets a CT up on himself. Amnelis now dead. Velis, can you do damage? He's probably just going to sit back and heal himself. That is what his AI does in this situation. And he's going to channel. Does he even get it off? I imagine Nasha probably going to go for a Blade Bash. No, she goes for Saintly Cross. Can't quite reach the Blade Bash, actually. As Snow Healing comes up, gives himself agility. Who goes next, though? It is King Bradley. I imagine he is probably able to one-shot Velis. He's got 38 AP. He's going to go Reaping Edge. 9480 is going to find the kill. And Daewn is on the board with a Game 1 victory. All right, guys, game number 2 between these two players. Daewn on the left side and Koryu on the right side. And I'm looking at the squads, looking to me like it's the same two team compositions. And one thing I will say from Koryu is that Reflect was absolutely massive. If that Reflect didn't get him behind the pace right to begin the fight, I honestly think they probably could have won this fight. But it'll be interesting to see what the changes are here as the same two group of units come out. Severo is off by himself, though. Here comes the zombie TMR from Amnelis. I do like that tech. Very similar to Skahal and what he can do. Basically get that infinite courage along with the re-raise. It's very, very nice. Keenblade coming out from Nasha, so she's going to get CT and walk forward. Severo, will he get baited into damage? Because he should be able to reach his Water Gun here, or will he go for his courage buff? Honestly, this is a little bit good for Severo, though, because it looks like the other squad is going to clump up here. I mean, there's no way Naya walks forward, right? If Naya walks forward, this could actually be... I don't think it's enough. I don't think Severo can reach with a Water Gun on Naya. If he can, this fight could be over before it starts. This Reflect is going to be massive because it's going to reflect back onto Severo, but that could be very good for Koryu, as Severo didn't do any damage last time, and he's going to catch the Reflect instead of Amnelis. Could this be the difference from game 1 to game 2 here, as we've got Ice Blessing coming out from Velis, so he's got his Protect and Shell online. Amnelis going to channel. Who gets their channel done first? Oh no, it's not damage. It is Haste Perpetuator. This means it's still going to go back onto Amnelis. Oh god, that's 10,000 damage proccing her courage, and it is looking very similar to last time. Now the only adjustment is that Severo is hasted where he wasn't the last fight. Here comes Bradley, though, and actually this is crucial. Calculated Ren comes out, does not kill Amnelis, so the position from Koryu looking very, very clean here, because now the Snow Healing comes out. Unfortunately, probably not the target that Koryu wanted. Probably wanted it on Amnelis here. Oh my god, Shadow Flare comes out from Naya, and she's gonna pick up the kill. She's got re-raise, but she's gonna lose her haste when she comes back up. She should be able to find a massive Ternary Seal, though. This should one-shot Naya, which could be pretty big. And Severo is going to go next. This might be a nice little water chain here, as this should be a chunk of damage onto 2 and a kill onto Naya. I imagine a Water Gun as well from Severo. It could potentially be a Flare, though. That is so much damage coming out from Amnelis. Gets the cast off. This is Water Gun Perpetuator. Going to proc the courage on both units and drop their bravery. And unless Bradley can find a double kill on 2 units here, I don't know, man. This looks really good for Koryu, because Velis is going to go next. I imagine Bradley's going to one-shot Severo. He's at full health, so he's going to opt for the higher health target. Velis should be able to full heal Amnelis. She's going to get her courage back up, and I think this is a game 2 victory for Koryu. I don't know what else is going to... I mean, Nasha, unless she can claim a kill here. She's got 79 AP. Hold on a second. Saintly Cross is not quite enough. Oh, if that killed Amnelis, this fight could have turned on its head very, very quickly. Although I think she still has her re-raise up. No, I don't think she does. I think they already burned through that. Here comes the channeled spell, though. Bradley, is that in range of a diamond? I don't think it quite is. I think Velis is just barely outside of diamond range. Assault Blade's going to come through, a good chunk of damage, but Velis is going to follow up with a heal. Amnelis is probably going to find a double kill right here. And I think just delaying the inevitable, I think we all know exactly what's about to happen. Ternary Seal comes through. That is a double kill. And Koryu87 with a clutch victory brings it to game 3. All right, guys, final game of this series between Daewn and Koryu. And wouldn't you know it, it's the same two teams that we've already seen twice before. The edge went to Daewn in game 1, edge went to Koryu in game 2. This should be another banger as both fights have been very, very close. Same initial turn rotation coming out from Bradley as he's just going to go with his poise buff, but the position is flipped. Severo is on the other side. And if this goes similar to how it went to game 2 with the positioning, this could be pretty big for Koryu here. This will be very interesting to see. So Naya, does she still go for Frostwave Vivification or does she have a different tech online? No, she goes for Zombie TMR. That could be huge as she will not die to one hit from Amnelis this time. A interesting adjustment from Daewn. I really, really like it. Keenblade coming out as well to get CT up on the party. Moving over to the side, though, tells me that Severo is chilling with Bowtie. He has hate on the other side, or else Nasha would have just moved straight forward instead of to the side. I imagine this is a reflect coming out from Naya just like last time. This should be Severo's courage buff. I don't think he can quite reach damage onto Bradley. He might be able to, though. It is very, very close. He can reach it. Water comes out 4,000 damage. That might not seem like a big deal, but that is a bravery drop as well. That is literally about a 33% physical damage mitigation coming out from Severo. So that might not look big as he is probably about to get one shot from Bradley here. But that could be just what Koryu needs here. It should nerf his damage for the next few turns. Vel is going to go Ice Blessing, so he's got Protect and Shell on himself. Amnelis walking forward, though, and she can't find damage. Naya's going to be able to find a heal on Bradley. Actually, maybe not this turn. I'm not sure if she can quite reach. She has 4 movement. Oh my god, I think she's going for damage. Oh dear lord, this is so bad for Daewn if this attack goes through. Who's going to get the casting time done first? Here's a Holy from Naya. 49-41, not bad damage. Naya known for having a massive attacks or magic stat. Oh boy, Bradley is going to chain here. I think she's going to interrupt this spell. She's going to find the kill. And Naya, as much as I thought it was bad that she was going for damage, Helm Splitter comes out from Bradley. Amnelis is going to drop. And this fight has to be over. I mean, there's no way Velis is going to 1v3 now. Naya, I thought you were making a huge mistake. Turns out you're actually the MVP. The offensive juggernaut that is Naya, pulling off the Holy. The reflect going back into Velis's face. Is she low enough to heal herself? Or does she go balls to the wall again going for another Holy? What do we see here, Naya? I would love to see her try and seal this kill. She's not going to. Bradley's low enough where she's going to go for a heal. But Bradley says, hey, I'll take care of this. He's got 37 AP. He's got plenty of range. Calculated Ren comes out. Good chunk of damage. Velis should be able to get another heal off on himself. But I just don't see it. I don't see any situation where he's going to be able to 1v3 this. Even with all the AP that he's got. This other team is too damn good. And that Holy. I can't believe how strong that Holy actually ended up being. It seemed like such a bad thing for Dawn's team. Ended up being massive. Cold Comfort. Wait a second. Dealing a ton of damage and healing himself back. Saintly... Okay, that is not enough. No way. There's no way, guys. There's no way, right? I mean, Nasha still has hate, right? So I don't think Velis can kill Bradley from here. Hold on. Hold on, guys. There's no way. Koryu's Velis needs to pop off right now. Can he find a... Okay, the Kyriga's going to go off first. I didn't know how fast Naya's spell would go through. Sub-Zero actually does so much damage that would have found the kill onto Nasha. But honestly, he needed an AoE onto Bradley or else it wouldn't really matter. He's going to go for another heal again. And this should be all but over as Nasha and Bradley should be able to chain up together. 19 actions left though. And unless this is somehow a damaging spell onto both units, this is over. Bradley's actually going to take a turn first before the channel even ends. 9 AP, no problems. And King Bradley, Daewn, and Primordial Inquisition find their first series win of the season in a 2-1 victory over Koryu and S.E.E.S. Game number 1 of this series, guys, we've got Catrah of Sandrock on the left side with Winged Stern, Freyevia, and Balo versus JesusLBL. Gonna go Beast Roar with Hio. So this is part Bruiser, part Evasion Unit, part Zazan, with a guaranteed hit nullification, Brutal Form Plus coming out from Yuffie right out of the gate. Winged Stern gonna go Pinion of Steel, get some AoE resist for the entire party.
going to make sure that everybody is very, very bulky here. Track barrier coming out from Fryevia. She's got almost 12k health, so she is quite tanky. Speaking of 12k health, there's the 30 cost Zazan with 12k for himself. Popping the Keen Blade for the entire party. Veiled Defiance going to come out from Hio, so he's got his Courage ready to go. And what does Yuumi have in store for us? It's Momentum. King Bradley TMR. If I had a nickel for every time I've seen this TMR, I'd probably have about $1. Keen Blade comes out from Balo. He's going to get CT up for the party, and now here comes the chaining. 100 Edges comes out from Stern. Nice chunk of damage onto the evasion unit. The accuracy is there for Catrah. So Shadow Flare comes out from Fryevia, going to drop the AoE resist from Hio. Main thing is just the tank is out in front. Fiery Banishment though, Jesus, damage caps the Fryevia. My God, Jesus is out to play here. This is a one-shot on the tank. I mean, she is a beast. To one-shot her, that is very, very impressive. Taunting Blade comes out from Balo. He's going to gather some hate. So Winged Stern might be able to do some damage if Balo can take a few hits, but Extreme Nova's going to come out. Nice little fire chain started out by Hio here. 3-hit chain. Slash Tech piercing rate up for himself as well, but this looks like he might be able to find a big AoE. Stern's going to go for the Limit Break. Infinite Light. This is going to give himself some haste. And we've seen this before. Absolutely pop off. 11k damage onto the Zazan. A ton onto Hio as well. Firm Resolve comes out though, so the reaction ability from the buff earlier gives himself a nice little chunk of HP, about 3,400. Chain started by Yuffie. How much damage does it do to Balo? Quite a bit. And a couple of hasted units here ready to pop off. 100 Edges comes out from Stern. Procs the Courage on the Hio here. And he's got Courage. He's going to Soul Blade Balo. But I imagine Stern is going to go next here. And he does. Oh, but he has no AP. He goes for Reawakening. Wait a minute. Hio has Re-Raise removal in his kit. Unknown Trader, how much damage is this going to do? 7,900. Removes the Re-Raise and Hio wins it. Oh my God. What the hell just happened? Gee, oh my goodness. It looked like Catrah had that in the bag in game number 1. But Hio, with the Re-Raise removal, there was exactly 0 AP on Stern Wing of Destiny. He could not find any damage. Had to buff for himself because he couldn't get in range to deal 1 damage. My God, this series is starting off with a bang. It is 1-0 JesusLBL. Going into game 2 here, JesusLBL and the Strawhats are at game point, and they have a team comp switch. It looks like Catrah's bringing the same thing. He feels pretty confident with his squad, even though he lost game 1. And Jesus is switching to Rabis, Orlandu, and Yildira. Very interesting composition here as the Reawakening buff comes out from Stern. So he's got his Re-Raise up. It'll give him CT when he respawns. Hate for Fryevia, and I will say she has more health this time. She has about 1,000 more than she did in fight 1. And if there is somehow somebody damage capping her, which I don't imagine that happens this time, she will live at least 1 hit. The Limit Break comes out from Yildira, functionally kind of like a Keen Blade, as Ravis is going to pop Courage and walk forward. And what does Yildira go for now? Aurora of Blessings. Very nice technique here, expecting a lot of light damage coming out from Catrah's team. Not surprising, as Stern is the main damage dealer here. This is the Keen Blade coming out from Balo though. And the Bruiser, Stern, he actually has no buffs left, so he's just going to walk forward a little bit, not do a whole lot. King Bradley TMR coming out from Orlandu, though. The reaction block rate and the haste, we've seen it a million times. Shadow Flare comes out, should drop the AoE resist here. Only 516 damage, but that's going to enhance how much damage Stern does, which is more important. Steelheart comes out from Ravis, though. This is now a charmed Fryevia. Will that matter, or will Orlandu break the charm? I imagine Orlando's going to break the charm here, so it shouldn't do a whole lot. Hellbolt Extreme, how much damage? Quite a bit. Drops the slash tech resist for both units. Balo, can he find any damage? Looks like he's running Bowtie as he's only got 2 movement, and now he has a ton of backline hate here. He actually should have more than Fryevia, which could work out for Catrah here, because now the other units are going to have to charge Balo instead of hitting the Fryevia, who is right next to them. Yildira does nothing. I am very confused. I am shocked that she didn't heal or find damage there. Interesting. Here comes Orlandu, dealing a bit of damage. And I'm still shocked by Yildira not really doing anything, but the haste is now on Orlandu. And God, Ravi's just popping off, getting the kill on Stern Wing of Destiny. Healing herself back up nicely as well. Stern going to get some CT up on the re-raise though too. He should be able to go again. But this is looking very, very good for Jesus here. Infinite Light will give him haste, but honestly, unless he laps, I think this is Jesus' fight to lose.
As Catrah's both big 2 units are pretty low here. Orlando's going to go Hellbolt Extreme though, and like I said, that hate on Balo is the one thing I think keeping Catrah in this fight. Is it a 3v3, but Jesus's units are much healthier. But looking at the CT order, this is Stern, then Freyevia, then Balo. Big damage coming up from Stern. Now wait just a second. Freyevia might be able to follow up on this. She might even go for a heal. She has a very supportive AI. Oh no, she's going to go back on, I think she's healing Balo. This is probably not what Catrah wants to see. Yeah, this is a Curata on Balo. And man, oh man, unfortunately, it looks like not running any sort of like Mashri TMR or something like that, which I think would have been very useful in this situation. Hellbolt Extreme coming out though, going to remove Courage from Balo, and that is a double kill. And you have to imagine this is over for Catrah. I say that. That is a double kill. I don't know what I'm talking about because I've seen Stern pull off crazy 3v1s. Oh my god, he's out of AP. He has to use Reawakening. He now has re-raised back up. This is not over yet, guys. It's looking very good for Ravis, though. She is very tanky. She has 14,000 HP. So 277 on Stern. Aegis Crush does a good chunk, 5399. She should be able to kill with a standard attack. She does. She heals back up. I don't think he's got 8,800 damage in him, though. I could be shocked. I could be wrong. I don't think he's got 8,800 in the kit, though. Aegis Crush it. Yeah, it's going to do 4,000. Ravi should be able to follow this up. 52 AP. Oh my goodness. Reflex comes out. There are 5 turns left. She's got 31 AP. Aegis Crush still not enough. Oh my god, and he's going to lap. There's one action left. He's going to lap, and he's going to summon Dark Bahamut to proc the Courage. And this is going to end before Ravis can act, so she can't get the kill. Oh my god. This series is a banger, and we are going to a game 3, guys. The final match of this series here, and it looks like Catrah's bringing the double light comp with Balo. So not looking for the Freyevia this time. This time just going for more light damage, it looks like, as Reawakening is going to come out from the Stern. A somewhat similar comp to last time. Actually, not even that similar. It's just the Orlando. Here is Silma, Lucio, Orlando. As Orlando pops bells, or sorry, Lucio pops bells, excuse me. Silma's going to go for the buff on the entire party. Dazzla, Cindrillion coming up from Violet. We've seen this before. Very nice synergy with Stern Wing of Destiny, where they essentially get CT up if they crit. Orlando's going to get some AoE resist, some status, ailment, nullification, as well as some AP as well. Keenblade coming out from Balo, so same old from Catrah on this side. It's a very nice early turn rotation. She's going to refresh this Dazzle Cindrillion, so basically 3 new turns for this buff for Stern. Zilma looks like she's going to channel a fast cast here. This should be a haste on one of the units. Radiant Nova doing quite a bit of damage onto the Balo, going to drop Bravery too, which will mitigate how much damage he does. Obviously, he doesn't do a whole lot. This is kind of huge though. Time Sealer CT down onto Lucio, and when he crits, he gets CT up. That can really steal a lot of turns as the fight continues. Speaking of stealing turns, though, this is going to give Orlando haste. Can he find the kill on Balo? Yes, he does. So even with the reflex on Stern, I'm sure that's not what Jesus wanted to see, but he does find the kill on Balo, and there are 2 hasted up Bruiser units on Jesus' side. How much damage does this do? Not a whole lot. Lots of AoE resist packing up on Jesus' side here. And I think this entire team is Red Mage synergy, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about Lucio, but I think they are. This is dodged by Violet, though. That is massive, as this Luminous Grace would have, I think, probably done a ton of damage to Violet. Still drops the light resist, but she gets the counter with a perfect 10 because she dodges it. This is one of those things. Violet, when she dodges things, she becomes very, very valuable, as Crush Armor Plus is going to get rid of Stern, but that is just his first life. He is going to come back with CT up. And what can he do with it? He's got 78 AP to try and pop off here. Aegis Crush is going to get rid of Lucio. And now what can Violet do to follow up? That was a Cura. That wasn't a fast cast. It completely whiffs. A wasted turn by Silma here. This is the limit break. Sword Dance coming up from Violet onto the backline. Silma, can she one-shot? It's not looking like it. Some good damage. About 4,500, I think, on some quick math. But not enough to one-shot. Divine Ruination misses. It kills Stern, which is great, but a perfect 10 popping off 3,000 damage on Orlando. And now, do they have the damage and accuracy to kill this Violet? Unavailable Pain comes out, that's guaranteed hit. Orlando doesn't have guaranteed hits. He has accuracy up with Crush Armor Plus. It hits 10k damage, and JesusLBL and the Strawhats, wouldn't you know it, pull out the Game 3 victory and this series win over Catrah and Sandrock. Absolutely amazing series to both of these players. GG's to both, and congrats to Jesus. All right, game number 1 here, guys, between ReadyPlayerWill on the left of the Pandas versus Coppola of the Holy Divers. Two very, very skilled players going on here. We've got a double fire evasion squad on ReadyPlayerWill's side that he brought out last week. Pissarro is going to go with his courage and physical damage buff up. Sweetheart Ildira going to go with her AP Restore as well as her Barrier. Stormwind Wren coming out from Joom immediately, though, before Coppola can even get a buff off, as he is running Joom, Howlet, and Slime. A very interesting composition here. We have not really seen much of Howlet at all in the WDL. He's going to pop Zombie TMR. Interesting tech here to see that. I'm actually surprised I didn't see it from the Slime here, but he's going to go Accelerate on the party. Guard Haste is going to come out from Phoebe, and we saw last week this Fire Evasion squad do pretty well against IceHeart's team. Can it do just as well against Coppola? Letter Bomb of Love coming out. This is going to drop CT for the other team and also boost hers up, which can be a pretty massive problem, especially when she's hasted up. And looking at the turn order, oh goodness, this is going to be so bad for Coppola. Strike of Ruin comes out, it kills the Howlet, and Sweetheart Ildira is going to go again. The mix between haste and her limit break is just such a massive advantage. Tiger Maw comes out immediately. This is already 2 down for ReadyPlayerWill, and he is coming out swinging. Dear Lord, Phoebe is coming up next. Is this going to be a haste? Yes, it is, onto Pissarro. And Slime is a good healer, but I don't know about this one. He should just full heal himself with a Hustle Dance +1. There he goes. Sweetheart Ildira and Pissarro should be able to chain together, though, to seal this kill. Toxic Assault comes out, lands the poison as well. Not that you really need it. Pissarro with 51 AP should be able to finish it off. Trick Thrust comes out, Slime is going to die, and that is a very quick game 1 for ReadyPlayerWill and the Pandas. Game number 2 here between these two players again, and it looks like the exact same team compositions coming out. I'm a little surprised here from Coppola, as that went so poorly last time, but maybe with a different buff rotation, he can pull off something a little better here. It looks like ReadyPlayerWill is saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm running the exact same early turn rotation. And what is the change from Coppola here? Does he go for a Keen Blade? No, he goes for Vacuum Veil. So that is hate up onto Joom. Howlet going to go Zombie TMR. And I'm not sure if this position is the exact same as last time, but it looks very, very similar. I'm curious to see how the fight can change here. Slime, does he go for Accelerate? Yes, he does. So the positioning looks a little different for the simple fact that I think Slime was a little further forward last time. But man, oh man, Howlet is in range of damage here. This is another limit break from Sweetheart Ildira, and unless I'm missing something, this is probably going to be very, very similar to game number 1. CT down on the entire squad, so Joom's CT is going to go down, and yeah, look at that. ReadyPlayerWill's both units are going to go back-to-back here. Coppola may be assuming that ReadyPlayerWill wouldn't bring the same team as last time, but unfortunately that gamble looks like not going to pay off. Sweetheart Ildira walks up, Tiger Maw, Howlet is dead already. This is a little different from last time, though, as Joom is still hanging on with 5,000 health. We have seen Slime pull off some crazy things, and there is a Stormwind Wren dropping agility on the Panda's side. Phoebe probably going to channel a haste onto Pissarro. No, it is a quicken, and this is actually even better for the Pandas. This might be able to get a kill onto Slime. Nope, just the Toxic Assault onto Joom, and actually, that is very good for Coppola. The poison does not land. This should full heal Joom here. That is a 12,000 health heal from Slime, who is a very good support unit. Crimson Cuts comes out for 6,500, but this should be another AoE guaranteed hit that will drop the agility. No, she's going to go triple trick onto Phoebe, and that is probably not what Coppola wants to see here. This should be a haste onto Ildira. But 33 AP, what can she get done? Twisting Shield Breaker does a good chunk of damage, but Slime is going to go next. So hold on a second, guys. This is not over for Coppola. If Slime can keep healing and ReadyPlayerWill's units run out of AP, they could stall out. You could even potentially see a raise onto Howlet. Crimson Cuts comes out for almost 6k. Joom, does she have the AP for an AoE? No, she does not. So just a standard attack, and she's going to miss Pissarro. Unfortunately, didn't go for that AoE guaranteed hit last time, just attacking the Phoebe. And that might be the difference here. I'm looking at the turn order, and Sweetheart Ildira and Pissarro are both going to go, especially with a Quicken coming in from Phoebe here. And what looked like potentially a possibility from Coppola here, it's going to be pretty tricky to pull off, because Pissarro is... No, actually, he won't be able to get damage onto Slime, so this is probably a raise from Slime. If he can raise one of his allies into a bunch of damage, no, he just goes for Accelerate. I'm thinking the Zing ability might be turned off of Slime. Sometimes you turn that off because it can sometimes take precedent over certain heals. I'm wondering if Coppola turned that off here because he didn't go for it on Howlet. So the Quicken comes down to Sweetheart Eldira, and this should be all but over. If he doesn't have a raise ability, he's not going to be able to win this. I don't imagine he has any sort of accuracy to be able to hit the evasion units either. AP Break Lance comes out, and ReadyPlayerWill and the Pandas with a convincing 2-0 win over Coppola and Holy Divers. Coppola has only ever lost one regular season series, and that was against SurfTaco last season. So very well played by ReadyPlayerWill. GG to both of these players. Game number 1 here of this series. We've got ThunderMage on the left side with Shadow Wizard Money Gang versus the other side, IceHeart and her team Stag Party. It looks like the pursuit buff immediately coming out from Lightning from FF13, as she is paired with Charlotte, who goes Presence of the Dragon, expecting some sort of haste coming out from the other side from IceHeart, as they are running a double ice missile composition. Frostmaw Barrage coming out immediately, one-shots the Valade. Oh my god, goodness, I did not expect that. March of the Dragon Stag Princess coming out from Alaya, as Little Leela, what does she have in store here? One unit is already dead before she even takes a turn. She's going to run Keen Blade to get Alaya another turn right out of the gate. And what can she follow up with? March of the Dragon Stag Princess, she's just going to refresh this buff. I will say this looks kind of rough for ThunderMage. The one thing they have going for them, though, as I say one thing, as about Lightning is just about to one-shot the Curry, is that she has 50 Frostbite resist innately, so that is one thing very, very nice for her versus double ice competition, but Curry's already gone. Surge Strike coming out from the Charlotte, who has 36 AP right now, and Leela is pretty low here. She does have regen. What can she find, though? Taunting Spell, so she's going to gather some hate. This turn is going to be telling, though, how much damage can Alaya do. Armor Borer does a good chunk of damage on both units, but Lightning, FF13, can she find a kill onto Alaya in the back line? Life Siphon 2 does so much damage. The follow-up attack going to come in for 1400, and I imagine Charlotte probably is going to pick up this kill on this turn here. And here it comes for 1000, and that is the game 1 victory for ThunderMage and Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Jumping right into game number 2 of this same comp, ThunderMage and Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Looks like on the other side, there is no switch up either from IceHeart and Stag Party. It looks like the double ice missile team plus the Little Leela. So will there be some sort of positioning change, as it looks like the Oberon TMR does not come out from Charlotte here, switching to the Glorious Armor. Might be a good adjustment, as there was no haste on the other side coming out from IceHeart, but I like this positional change for her, as Alaya will not refresh the same buff. Sharpshoot coming out from Curry, and it looks like he is running a Thornlet piece of equipment, because he just dropped the agility of Charlotte, which naturally Sharpshoot is not going to do that. Barb Blizzara comes out from Valade, though, and this fight is not quite as high octane as last time, as Valade does not get one shot immediately. Looks like positional changes coming out from both teams. Life Siphon 2, a decent chunk onto Little Leela, but does not find an AoE on the back line, so that part is much, much better for IceHeart compared to game number 1. Lightning Strike from Charlotte doing a good chunk of damage, though. What does Valade have for a follow-up? He actually goes King Bradley TMR. Very, very interesting with the haste and the reaction block rate. And Alaya, what does she have in store with 86 AP? Armor Borer, not that much damage, honestly. I think it did more to Charlotte than it did to Lightning, to be clear. And here comes the Curry. Does he find the Frostmaw Barrage? Yes, he does. A decent chunk of damage there, though, as Lightning and Charlotte are both about half health. But I imagine this is probably a Cura coming out from Valade. And Lightning with 28 AP is going to seal the kill on Little Leela here. How much does Cura do? It actually only connects for 2600 and does not land on Charlotte. It only landed on Lightning. Curry is going to reflex the Surge Strike. This could end up being important. We'll have to see what happens here. 0 AP on Curry is just going to find a standard attack. Charlotte is actually out of hate, though. There is no hate anymore on Charlotte, so they are able to go for Lightning instead. This could be pretty bad. Oh my goodness, Eraser erases Valade from existence, as Lightning does not get hit there. That is the Valade here. Can she find a kill? Life Siphon 2 does so much damage. It finds the kill on Curry. It finds the kill on Alaya, and we have seen this before. Lightning from FF13, people forget about her, but she is still a monster of a unit. And ThunderMage and Shadow Wizard Money Gang claim the series victory 2-0. GG's to both players. Game number 1 of what on paper seems like should be a very good series here. We've got SurfTaco and Raegen against the Machine on the left with a Raegen, Murmur, and Miranda composition. The Rebel Grace team are popping off on this full Red Mage VC team. And it looks like, speaking of VC synergy, this is a full Gunner team. Coming out from Alkor on the other side as the Domain of Earth buff comes out from Rulgia, who I don't think we've really seen yet. Full Protect on the entire team with the Glaciella Flagbearer TMR coming out from Miranda. And what does the 50 cost Rivalry have in store? It is aimed fire, so everybody's going to have increased range on their attacks. And I really like this team coming out from Alkor. Not something we've really seen, but full Gunner squad with some hate and a lot of ranged damage here. As the Steelskin Plus buff comes out from Barret, Fast Cast coming out from Murmur to get himself some haste as well. Protecting the Light of the Future coming out from Raegen. He is good to go. He's got about 9,600 health at the moment. And what does Murmur have in store for us? She's going to channel another Fast Cast, as it looks like Immortal Spirit coming out from Miranda, so you're going to have to kill her twice. You're going to have to kill Raegen twice. There's a lot of courage on the other side. And here comes Rulgia with Umber Bombardment, 4,600 damage, and the Rupture following up with 2,180 is very, very nice. A little bit more than the self-heal went for on Raegen. So very nice start as Absolute Cover comes out from Ryryu. This is a 100% shield, just very similar to somebody like Victoria. As the Disable comes out from Barret, oh my god, I didn't even see that. Raegen is now disabled. He literally cannot do a single thing at the moment. He's got an 82 AP, but he can't utilize it. So he's going to walk forward. And Miranda's going to start channeling a spell as well. What does she go for? It is Water God Dispeller, landing the sleep on Rulgia. That could be pretty major here. We'll have to see. The Cura coming out from the backline, so just healing up the squad a little bit. As Barret, what does he end up going for? Just a little bit of regen from that buff from Rulgia earlier. Point Blank comes out, though. That is going to remove courage from both targets. So those courage buffs earlier not looking like they're going to do much of anything at this point. Armbuster coming out from Ryryu, and now Miranda is disabled. And Alkor says, hey, I know you're undefeated up to this point, but I'm trying to win a game here, and they might just be able to pull this off, as 2 units being disabled can't really do much. The one thing keeping SurfTaco in this game, though, I will say, is that Rulgia is asleep, and there are a lot of heal sustains coming out from Murmur here. Eventually, the Disable will wear off. I believe this is the last turn for Raegen. I believe this is turn number 3. We'll have to see. And yes, it looks like it is fading away. Rulgia is no longer asleep, though, either. So now some of these status effects fading away. Leg shot coming out from Barret, though, is going to land the kill on Miranda. It is a 3v2. What can Ryryu go for? How much damage? Armbuster is 7,200 and a 50 cost unit. He's not showing it. That is a ton of damage. And a 3v1 right now. Umber Bombardment again from Rulgia with the Rupture follow-up is so much damage. Very cool to see this unit popping off, as we almost never see them anywhere, even in PvP. Barret with 0 AP just going to channel Steelskin Plus again. And this game 1 is all but over. SurfTaco, both of the first 2 weeks, won each series 2-0. So Alkor is finally going to take a game off of him in what seemed like this impenetrable force. Break Slug's going to follow, 4,800 with the Rupture, claims the game 1 victory. And what does SurfTaco and Raegen against the Machine have for an answer in game number 2? Heading into game number 2 here, guys, and SurfTaco looks like is running the exact same composition as game 1, even though it went very poorly for him. This is a full strike composition coming out from Alkor, though, so maybe SurfTaco calling his bluff a little bit, saying, hey, you're going to switch your compositions, so this comp is going to work just fine. Will it, though? We'll have to find out, as this is a very scary team coming out from Alkor with the full strike comp. AoE resistance, AoE buff coming out from Perrine, Protect coming out from Merluc, Strike Attack up from Raldor, a bunch of really good things, as a few different elemental resists coming out from Raegen on the entire party. Miranda going to pop the Courage, Immortal Spirit. This might work a little better than last time, though, as there doesn't seem to be any sort of courage removal from the other side, I believe. Stonega comes out from Murmur. That is a huge chunk of damage onto Raldor to start this fight out. Pure Water Exuberance coming out from Perrine, so trying to get some CT up. And Merluc, what does she have? Crowning Chakra, a very nice tech coming out from Alkor. A nice sizable heal onto Raldor, also giving regen to try and make sure he lives a couple of hits here. And what can Raldor find? Murmur is known as having very high strike resistance, but Raldor, I believe with his Limit Break, drops strike resistance, but I don't think this goes into Murmur. I think this is just going for Raegen. Chasm Render, how much damage do we got here? 7,200 is very sizable, a little bit more than the self-heal is. And Miranda following up with Dispelling Thrust is a one-shot onto the Raldor, though. Unfortunately for Alkor, him all out by himself. and the 2 units are sitting in the back buffing. Jamming Thrust does 12k to Merluc though, and this is a heck of a response from SurfTaco in game number 2 here, who is trying to protect his undefeated record this season. Raegen, what has he got in store? Absolutely nothing, but Miranda, who has done a ton of damage already in this fight, going to follow up with another Dispelling Thrust. 6,900, that is a very nice number coming out from Miranda. And what does Perrine have? Die 1,000 deaths, removes the courage. I said there was no courage removal. I don't know what I was thinking. Perrine definitely has courage removal. Gets rid of Miranda in 1 hit. Azure Blade Strike, a decent amount of chip coming out from Raegen. Can Murmur finish this off? Does she have a flare or something similar in store here? Let's find out. But Perrine's going to follow it up. How much damage can she do? I said before, Murmur normally has a lot of strike resistance. She soaks that up very well. Raegen takes a decent amount though. Here comes the flare. This should be a good chunk of damage. A very high modifier skill, 8,300 damage onto the Perrine, and that is a game 2 victory for Raegen against the machine. Final game of this series, and this has been a banger, and wouldn't you know it, SurfTaco called the bluff in game 2, and now he finally does switch his composition. It looks like expecting that Gunner team to follow up here, but will it be enough? We'll have to see. So the Astraeus team are, coming out from Sephiroth on turn 1, Keenblade coming out from Whisper on turn 2, and the full Gunner team on the other side. This looks like the exact same turn rotation from Alkor as we saw in game number 1, the Domain of Earth. This should be Ryu going Aim Fire, and I believe this should be Steelskin Plus coming out from Barret. I believe this is the same as game number 1. Yes, so this is the Steelskin Plus buff. Courage online, that won't matter if Sephiroth uses the Limit Break on him, but hopefully can soak up some hits from this very, very scary boy as he goes Veil of Woe, gets himself a barrier, some AP restore, and the fast cast going to make the entire party very, very speedy. Regen, Protect, Shell, all that kind of good stuff coming out from Whisper, as it looks like Murmur is going to use fast cast on herself as well. So double hasted up units here, but what can Rulgia find here? Dual Disruptor is a couple of hits to break part of that barrier. There's still 1 hit remaining on it though. Barret should go ahead and take it out, and Catastrophe comes out. Can he land the confusion onto Sephiroth here? Oh no, I'm sorry, that actually did not hit Sephiroth. That actually hit Whisper in the background, and I can't see whether the confusion landed or not. Absolute cover comes out from Ryu. The confusion did not land. Unfortunate here for Alkor's protection break comes down, debuffing the defense on Barret, which I don't know how much it matters as Sephiroth has a lot of defense pen, but Hell's Gate breaks barriers, which means Ryu is dead in 1 hit. That 100% health shield not going to matter here. Barret is surviving on 1 hit, and Rulgia is a decent unit, but I don't know how he's going to pull off a 1v3 because Barret is going to drop to Murmur, and this seems like one hell of a response from SurfTaco. Called the bluff in game 2, and then switched back to his Dark Comp in game 3. Spread Blast coming out, a good chunk of damage, dropping the evasion, but I don't think that's really going to matter much. I will say the pre-counter coming out from Rulgia, but it's not going to matter. Hell's Gates does so much damage, one-shots the Rulgia, and GG's, a great series, the most competitive one that we've seen in SurfTaco's matches this season, but he ends up pulling out the series win regardless. Raegen against the Machine over Diminishing Returns in a 2-1 fashion. All right, guys, let's take a look at the standings for the Rundall Division 3 weeks in. And we've got one team all alone in first place. That is SurfTaco, our Season 1 champion, with Raegen against the Machine looking very strong this season with 9 points. We've got JesusLBL of the Strawhats and Catrah of Sandrock, who just finished a banger of a best of 3. Currently both tied with 7 points in second place. ReadyPlayerWill of the Pandas moving on up with 6 points, along with Thunder Wizard of Shadow Wizard Money Gang. They are in a 2-way tie for 4th currently. Technically, Coppola is also there, tied with them with 6 points, does have 1 less in the plus or minus, and also lost directly to ReadyPlayerWill, so he would have the tiebreaker if it were to come down to something like that in the future, but obviously many more weeks to go. Alkor in 7th place with Diminishing Returns with 5 points, being the first team to take a single game off of SurfTaco, so no easy feat there. Props to him for doing that. Daewn of Primordial Inquisition getting their first series win this week. Congratulations to them with 3 points. Koryu87, a very tight series with Daewn, with S.E.E.S with 1 point. Unfortunately, down at the bottom, IceHeart of Stag Party, she has not managed to pick up a win yet, but she is a very good player, so I know it is coming down the pipeline at some point. So I hope you guys enjoyed these matches. Please let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the different format with the scoreboards, with my face being off the screen.
Just let me know, whether good or bad. I would like to hear it. Again, my goal is to try and make this as enjoyable as possible for all of the players and all of the viewers. So thank you guys so much for watching. You have a wonderful day.